I need to worry about my internal world and worry about my stance. If I hold a higher stance, then the people around me will be able to. Okay, so I have news. I'm speaking quietly because my partner is doing like a 2-day course in the back room. You'll meet her soon. The news is that my partner has actually moved in, but it's not all smooth sailing. So if you've been watching the videos before, you know that we usually have 2 different houses in a location, just so we can kind of keep separate, and we've been working on our relationship like dynamics, and look, we all have heaps of money, so we just have 2 places in the country that we're in. That's separate to other countries. And at the moment we're in Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane, Australia, Queensland, so it's like the top section of Australia. Don't know if you know, but it's there, it's warm, it's hot. She's moved in, and obviously I'm in a diet and I'm sharp, and she's in a diet and she's sharp, and we're working on a lot of dynamics, but I realized something very important. What I realized is that myself, I get irritated sometimes. For example, there's clothes everywhere, right? So she stays over, or she's now here, and there's an item of clothing on the floor. I hate messy places. And I keep my place relatively clean. But if you look back there, for example, there's a bag there. Don't know if you can see, there's a bag on the table. Now, I personally have been like, that's my gym bag, and I'm kind of rushing out the door, so I've left my bag there, but it's a little messy. And what's happened is, because it's a little messy, I leave a bag, then she then leaves a bag somewhere. Then I leave a piece of clothing somewhere, then she starts leaving a piece of clothing somewhere. Now, internally, my first frustration is at her. Why are you making the place messy? Like, my bag or my one piece of clothing isn't that bad, but when we've got 2 or 3 pieces of clothing, well, then it's really bad. And then it gets messy and messy. What I realized is that a lot of my upset or turmoil is me waiting for the other person to create a standard or a stance on cleanliness, or a stance on food or diet, or what is okay or what is not okay. And this feeling of slight frustration that I would bring up normally, I would bring up like, hey babe, hey, can we possibly keep the place clean and not throw clothes on the floor? I know I sometimes have them, but can you please make sure you don't do that, and I'll do better as well. And instead of having that communication, what I realized is I actually need to myself raise my standard and have a very strict standard that I live by. Because if I have a strict standard, then when I actually speak or make a request of another person, then it's hard to argue with it. It's hard to say no. You can be like, look, I eat non-processed foods every day. And I've been observing you've been eating a lot of processed foods, and it causes your mood to go up and down. My request is for you to stop eating processed foods, because we need, in this household, we're running several businesses, we've got lots of employees, lots of money going through, and a lot of people depend on us. So they depend on our mental clarity and mental sanity and mental sharpness to be at such a high level that we can be responsible for other people's income as well. So it's not an unfair request, and it's not even an unfair request because I can be like, look, I'm eating processed foods, but you can't. That's maybe not a fair request, but it could still be a request. But it's not about fair or not fair. The point I'm trying to make is that if you take a high personal stand for yourself and look inwards first and go, you know what, I am going to specifically not eat processed foods. Then when you make requests of the person in your household or anything like that, it almost like falls like dominoes. It has so much power and weight behind it. You're like, I'm living proof that this is possible. You've seen me do this. I am doing this. And now I'm making a request for you to fall in line and do the same. For me personally, when I make big decisions in life, like let's become organized or let's become not organized, there's people screaming outside. I thought I'm starting to hear voices. I genuinely started thinking I am hearing voices. It felt like it was in the back of my ear. And I'm like, that's it, Andrew. You've cooked it. You need to eat more. You need to just. Anyway, I wasn't hearing voices. It was outside. It's all good. The point I'm trying to make is with all humans, we instinctually look outwards and we try and there's a lot of energy and irritation that goes towards, why can't you do that a little bit better? Why can't you be a little nicer? Why can't you be a little cleaner? Why can't you be a little this? If you can be a little bit that, you can be a little that, and you can be a little bit. If you external to me, then I would be okay. And flipping the script, I, or in your world, you, are not holding a large enough standard for yourself. I'm not having a large enough standard for myself. So I don't have to worry about my external world at all. I need to worry about my internal world and worry about my stance. If I hold a higher stance, then the people around me will be able to have a higher stance for me. And I live by this all the time, but somewhere along the lines in the last couple of weeks, I've found it creeping in. It's life. It's okay. It happens, right? It happens. Sometimes we get a bit like it's easier to look outwards than inwards. In fact, even what I do with YouTube or with these videos here is my life becomes to be, I look at my life, my diet choices, my work choices, my new projects, my new books, the thing that I can't tell you about yet. The new things, I have to show up and I have to be a stand to show and to be the person that says, hey, I am showing up every day. And then I can ask you, hey, can you show up every day? You've seen me in calorie deficits, you've seen me under intoxicants, nights after intoxicants, with sleep, with no sleep, women, no women, frantic, upset, but I've kept showing up. Therefore, when I now make a request for you to say, hey, can you show up to the one thing that's important to you every single day for just 20 minutes? There's a power behind that request from me to you because I have focused on myself and I have become a stand for that. There's no franticness about it. There's no science behind it. We can tell as human beings there's almost a power behind our word. So if you are asking people for something or to do something or to be something, then you've got to make sure that internally and yourself you are doing that. And it was a big shift. I was at the gym today and I realized, I got mad. I looked at my last 1.5 years of our relationship and it was so clear to me that so many little frustrations, I didn't have a strong enough stance for myself and I looked externally instead of internally. And that was majority of my issues, problems, concerns with the relationship itself. So I feel free now. I feel free, but a huge weight of responsibility. But I like responsibility. It's easier to be in control of yourself than outwards. We can't control what people do. We can't make anybody do anything. We can't be like, hey, you just be always clean and then I'll be clean. Or what? Let's just get rid of this partner and let's find a clean partner. Oh, but she's a clean partner, but she doesn't hug me. Oh, well, no, if she doesn't, I'll hug her. I'll hug her, and then if I'm hugging her every day, I'm like, hey, can you please hug me? Well, it would make sense. Lead by example. A simpler word is lead by example. If you lead by example, your requests that you make of people, become really easy. That's what I have to share today. It's another mental model, but this mental model is something that I live by. And majority of people, if you begin to observe, majority of people have all the reasons other than themselves for why things aren't working. It's all external. So if there's anything that I can give to you throughout this is like, look inwards, look inwards. It is all your fault. Not in a bad or a good way, but it's your fault. It's your fault that you're not healthy. It's your fault that you're healthy. It's your fault that you're not clean. It's your fault that you are clean. It's your fault that there is hunger in the world because you haven't done anything to cure the hunger in the world. You can extrapolate this on a wide scale. It is Elon Musk's fault that we still haven't colonized Mars. And because he takes responsibility or fault for not reaching that yet, that is exactly the reason why we may reach it, because he takes that personal responsibility. He doesn't look outwards. He's like, it's because of John. John hasn't landed us on Mars. No, he takes personal responsibility. And all the powerful people in the world that you aspire to be or to imitate or mimic or grab things from, they are a stand for what they are up to, and they take it as a matter of fact as they're responsible for the thing that they're trying to achieve, not external. It's a pretty big one. Let it sit with you. The best way is just observe, because it's easier to observe other people before you observe yourself. Observe other people and how often do they blame everything in their life for external rather than internal. And then you'll begin to notice when you do it too. Take more personal responsibility and take a stand for you. You can change and play with you. Of course you can play with you, but you can do you. You can optimize you. You can't control the external. But by optimizing you, you can be the beacon of light, and other people will begin to then model your behavior. It's natural, it's like a pack animal. How do you become a leader? You say, I'm going to lead. I'm going to be internal, and I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to focus on myself and lead the way. That is how you reach anything you fucking want. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.